While the Western world is pushing democracy into the African continent, not because it actually serves the people, but what if, honestly, the purpose of Western education, democracy, and religion isn't really about knowledge, freedom, or even heaven, but to destroy the African cultural heritage they fear most? In this video, we're going to dive into 11 African cultural heritages that literally cooked every Western world system. Even more interesting, most Africans don't even know that Africa was once governed not by humans but by the gods themselves, where transparency reigned supreme. If Africa chooses this path, it will cook everything you've been indoctrinated with. This is where spirituality collides and controls reality like it's nothing, while the West is busy writing, bullock and garbage. If you're a woman who loves rocking hot pants and believes cheating is modern freedom, you might want to stay far away from certain African men, because doing so might not just break hearts, it could literally cost you your life. Yes, you heard me right. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into African spiritual science and cultural heritage, realities that make modern science look primitive, and honestly, shatter the moral values of the Western world. Watch this video till the end, because what you're about to discover will completely reshape how you see power, relationships, and even justice. And please, subscribe now if you believe Africa's truths must be told, raw and unfiltered. Now let's dive in. Imagine a place where there's no need for courtrooms or police to settle injustice. You lend someone a huge sum in good faith, expecting them to pay back at the agreed time. But they ghost you, not because they're broke, but because they just don't want to pay. In the West, you're off to court or chasing the person around with a lawsuit. In Africa, you report them to the shrine. Yes, a literal oracle of justice, still operational today. The native priest will spiritually investigate the matter. If guilty, the defaulter is given a deadline. Miss that date, and you die. Period. And here's the wild part. Nobody's allowed to bury your body. If someone tries, they'll die too. That's how sacred justice is in African culture. Next up is something that will completely shake your belief system. In African spiritual science, teleportation is real. A man can place his palms on his bedroom wall and vanish, reappearing in another location or country of his choice. It's not fiction. It's documented, witnessed, and practiced. Western science? Still scratching its head. Let's talk deportation protocols. Did something terrible and ran off overseas? You're not safe. If you're from a strong traditional community and committed an offense, village elders can spiritually summon you back. No passport needed. Once they agree to deport you spiritually, you'll return by any means necessary. Some have even walked continents unknowingly. Here's something Western medicine can't explain. A nursing mother leaves her baby at home to gossip. As soon as the child wakes up crying from hunger, her breast starts leaking milk wherever she is. No signals, no cameras, just spiritual connection. In the West, politicians swear on the Bible, then lie, steal, and manipulate. But in certain parts of Africa, there are deities no politician dares swear upon. Why? Because if you lie after taking such an oath, you're dead, instantly. No press conference, no cover-up. If any African president took an oath before one of these oracles, he'd never need bodyguards again. That's the level of incorruptible power we're talking about. Some people in African spiritual traditions have the power of bilocation, the ability to be in two different places at once, performing separate tasks. Not metaphor, not magic, reality. Steal something in some African villages and there's no need for cops. The elders will make a pronouncement. If the thief doesn't confess, they spiritually decide his fate, and within 4 market days, it happens. Sickness, madness, or death. No lies, no delay, just consequences. You've heard of cloud seeding, satellites, and drones to force rain? In Africa, we have rainmakers, elders who can make it rain with chants and rituals, no chemicals, just command over nature. Now this part will shock the Western world. In many Western nations, adultery is normalized. Women marry rich men, have babies, and then file for divorce, cashing out. Divorce rates, over 90%, and in most cases, women initiate it. But in Africa, marriage isn't a game, it's a sacred covenant. Men can have multiple wives or concubines, just like Solomon in the Bible. But a woman cheating is death, and this isn't metaphorical. In Igbo, Yoruba, and Fulani cultures, if a wife cheats and feeds her husband, he may die or go mad. Their children may mysteriously start dying, only when they grow enough to be useful. In Fulani culture, if a man sleeps with another's wife, they can physically hook together during intercourse until the husband arrives. In Yoruba and Igbo traditions, both parties in an affair die spiritually and physically. No forgiveness, no therapy, no second chance. In some places, the only redemption? Public shame. A woman must strip naked on a market day, where the whole community can see, just to confess. But even then, no man will take her back. If a man suspects his wife is cheating, first thing, don't eat her food because honestly, it could be your last meal. Next, you gotta report immediately to the village. Then a public council is held, and she is forced to swear before the oracle. If she's innocent, she lives, but if she's guilty, well, she won't see morning. If a young man gets a girl pregnant without marriage, he must pay bride price or, face spiritual consequences. If he denies responsibility, he must swear before the oracle. If he's lying, death is certain. That's why, honestly, many families encourage their sons to marry within the community, so both are subject to the same traditions.
Okay guys, how many of you remember this very guy on the right hand side? That was the Birdman, as they call him. And how many of you remember the young lady at the left side? Her name is Tony Morden. She has been one of the iconic legends in blues. That her voice and music can make you forget anything about fake realities. But unfortunately, like many other celebrities, she is one hell of a lady, just like Kim Kardashian, who sees marriage as a quick cash out, like many other modern women. So if suppose, look at it here, after 16 years of being together with Birdman decided to tie the knot with this young woman. And guess what? A month later, she filed for divorce, demanding $160 million. So if suppose it's in African continent, this wouldn't happen. Not even for a chance, as the consequences can be very, very destructive and deadly that she won't even dare to do such. But in the West, they don't have realistically cultural heritage that actually governs the land, not the rules made by a human to protect whom they selected. Let us sing.
Marrying a Western woman? It can, dilute spiritual heritage. In some traditions, during the wedding, the woman is automatically initiated into the man's cultural rites without her consent. In the West, that's a violation. But in Africa, once a man pays bride price, the woman becomes his property, mind, body, and spirit. Now, here's the billion-dollar question. What if Africans returned to their roots fully? We wouldn't need nukes. We wouldn't need missiles. We wouldn't need foreign aid. Because you see, our culture is our technology. Our traditions are our protection. Our oracles are more powerful than any military. Western systems don't fear Africa because we're weak. They fear what we would become if we remembered who we are. So to every African watching this, reconnect to your roots. To every non-African, this is why Africa is not to be underestimated. If you watched till this point, you are part of a new awakening. So, subscribe right now. Don't miss the next truth they won't teach in school. Comment the part that shocked you most. Support this work with a super thanks to keep us bringing you knowledge that sets you free. Africa has always been the beginning. Now it's time for it to be the future.